All right, I hope we've been able to do justice to that as regards what our expectation is. Oh, amazing. I love this. So, results out. We have 89% of people wanting to get the right scholarships. 79% of us wants to know how to strengthen our applications. 78, then 78% also wants to know how to build a competitive profile. 56% wants to understand selection criteria, and 33 wants to know how to manage application timeline. This is a great one. Thank you for your responses. We'll be having one more, and then we move further into the event. So just one more survey to get us familiarized with this graduate school and scholarship opportunities. Sorry, just hold on. It will be coming up on your screen very soon. Okay, so what stage are you in your graduate school exploration journey? Are you just getting started? Are you researching programs? Are you preparing application materials? Or have you submitted an application already? Then have you been accepted and you are planning enrollment? So what stage are you in your graduate school exploration journey? Yeah, you can only pick one. Yes, you can only pick one answer. So I hope we are getting it done. I hope we find it easy for us to answer and submit. Please do well to answer because we'll be calling that off very soon. Just so we can still keep to time at the moment. Okay. This is nice. 55% said they are just getting started, which is very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. 18% said they are researching programs and preparing application materials, while 9% have been accepted and planning enrollment. This is a beautiful result, and we appreciate you all, regardless of the stage you are in, whether you've been accepted, whether you are just getting started. This is a good thing that you are here. And if you are just getting started, I think I should give more accolades to you because it's going to make your journey easier and you wouldn't have to make mistakes or commit errors, so that you have a smooth ride in applying and getting the opportunity you so desire. So moving on, we'll be going into the exact business of the day, and it's that time where we get to meet our guest speaker and we get to interact with him on this event. But before then, I would like to read his bio so we can know him and who he is. Mr. Olufemi Adeshino is an agricultural development professional and a final year PhD researcher at the University of Leeds, UK. He has worked with several local and international agricultural development organizations, including the UK's Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, the International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology in Kenya, and the Alliance of Biodiversity International and CIAT in Colombia. His research and professional interests lie at the intersection of food security, climate change, agricultural innovation, and development. While he approaches food security from a global perspective, he is particularly passionate about tackling the unique challenges facing Africa's food systems. Olufemi holds a first-class bachelor's degree in agricultural extension and communications from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, which he bagged in the year 2017, and a distinction master's degree in food security from the University of Warwick, UK, bagged in 2019. He is a recipient of several prestigious awards, including the UKRI and NERC Panorama PhD Award in 2021, the Borlaug Additional Fellowship Award in 2019, and the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship Award in 2018. On this note, I would like to welcome Mr. Olufemi Adeshino to serve as our guest on this event. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Grace, for having me. It's nice to be here. And good afternoon, everyone. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. We are grateful to have you here. And personally taking a look at your profile, I must confess, your profile, your bio, and your LinkedIn profile, actually, I appreciate what you're doing. You are welcome, sir. So we'll be moving right straight into today's event, and I'll just like the people to get to know you more beyond the bio I read. I would like that you share with us a brief but impacting story particular to you, or maybe an experience of somebody that you resonate well with, that would like serve as the basis of this event. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me once again, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy that you find it worthy to join this event. I'd just like to give a brief background of myself and how I got here. My journey began in Ondo State. I'm also from Ondo State, and it began with dreams bigger than my environment, you know, and I started with a national diploma in agricultural technology, which I backed from the Federal Polytechnic Ado Ekiti. And then after then, I wanted more. I wanted a degree, and I did not want to end my academic career with a diploma. So I put in for a direct entry to get to the university. And as God will have it, I got into the Federal University of Technology. And I started from 200 level instead of starting from the first year. And I was able to graduate the best of my department. I also recorded one of the best results that the department I've ever recorded at that time with a first class degree. And by the time I was rounding up, I was curious, what next? I wanted to explore other options, and I started thinking about scholarships abroad, but I've got nothing on me in terms of finances. I understand that I'm faced with that financial challenge, and I Googled how do you study abroad with no money? So how do you get there with no money when your parents are not financially buoyant to finance your ambition? So I started seeing different things, different options, and then I spoke to a couple of friends at that time who were also top of their class, were interested in studying abroad. But we faced several challenges in terms of the type of documents we needed, how to get source these documents, and but by God's grace, we were able to surmount those challenges. And even cutting across laptops, what do you use to apply in the first place? Internet, having access to internet, you bear with me that is very important. But we managed to apply and get a lot of rejections, but by God's grace, we turned those rejections into a scholarship that came in through the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So it was the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship that gave me the platform, that I've got today, like the foundation. The road wasn't easy. It was difficult balancing so many things, so many side gigs that you need to do, so many commitments, and distraction as well. But we just need to give all the glory to God. We are here today, and if I can do it, I believe that you can as well. I'm here to not just tell you about how possible it is that you get whatever you dream of, but to also show you how it can be done as well. So thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We are really grateful for that experience, and I think we could relate. I can relate with the fact that beyond applying for the scholarship, the little the slightest thing of even access to internet is a thing for some people. So, and that's a very important thing because if there's no internet, how would you even get to know the opportunities? How would you apply and get in it? So thank you for taking us down to even the roots. We're grateful. So we would be just diving into it straight up, and we have two aspects we want to focus on today. The aspect of document requirements. Like you said, there's the application process, but it's not just about applying. There are things that are required. There are documents that are required. So I'll be starting on this note. What are the essential documents required for graduate school applications? And please, can you give a run through of the functions of those documents?
Okay, so when we're talking about grad school, I believe you all know that we're talking about advanced higher education, which includes master's degree, not limited to master's degree alone. We also talk about PhDs as well. So some people in the ODS today might have their masters and they are thinking about PhD. So I would just be giving a general overview of the documents that might apply for both a master's degree or PhD, as it may be. So the first on my list would be your transcript. So the transcript, official or unofficial, documents all the modules that you've taken all through your time, be it in undergrad days or maybe during your master's. So this is what you submit to show that you've gone through relevant modules that can also be beneficial to this particular program that you want to study. And then another important document will be your CV. So it shows who you are to the panel of judges that would decide on either your admission or your scholarship application. So your CV consists of, your educational qualifications, your working experience, your skills, trainings you've attended, and certifications that you've earned. So these are the things that would show to the panel who you are without even seeing them, face to face. And then another thing you need to think about is your statement of purpose, and sometimes it's referred to as personal statement, and maybe sometimes it could also be referred to as motivational letter. So it depends on whichever the advert says. So this just have to include your story, your academic fit, how you fit into this program, what you intend to do, and your future goals and ambitions. So that is that. Then you have another document, which is often referred to as recommendation letter or reference letter. So this can be written by your lecturer. Maybe if you are working, that there's a professional aspect of it. Your manager, your line manager can write for you. Sometimes you need it to upload a soft copy of this document, and sometimes they just ask you for the links or emails of who is going to write this letter for you. You insert their emails, and then they send them an email that they should upload these documents. So that is that. Another on my list would be English proficiency letter. So this is to assess your spoken, written English. How good are you in terms of how are you going to be able to cope, especially if the school you are targeting is domiciled in an English-speaking country like the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, United States. Then they would ask for English proficiency. And you have the IELTS, you have the TOEFL, English proficiency exams that people do take. But in the absence of that, some schools, I would say most of the school, could give you a waiver using your NECO, your WAEC, your certificate, or or an English proficiency letter issued by your university. Then I think what other thing is important is your international passport. If you're going to study abroad, it's very important you get your international passport, because they might ask you to present it maybe in an interview. If you are lucky enough to be scheduled for an interview, they might ask you, have you gotten an international passport? That might signal that you are ready for what it's to come. And then last but not the least, if you're considering a master's by research or PhD, you would need a research proposal, which shows that you've identified a specific gap in literature, and then you want to pursue a master's by research or PhD, solving that gap that you've identified. So that sums it up for me. Those are the key materials, also documents that you'll be needing.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for being explicit with that. Especially transcripts. How about times when it's not available from the school? I think some students have that challenge.
Yeah, I think what many do not know is that there's always a way around all these things. You don't need to just to give you an insight into how things work in this realm. Do you know that you do not need to graduate before you start applying for scholarships abroad? And without the transcript, because many people want to wait to graduate before the transcript is ready, right? For me, I was documenting all my marks from the beginning. I had all my marks documented from the beginning, from the day one in the university. I know everything, I calculate everything, I compare it with whatever is being pasted, at the end of the day. So in my final year, I was talking to my friend and they said, do you know we can approach the university registrar and then they can give us something called statement of marks. So there's a document called statement of marks. This statement of mark kind of mirrors your transcript, but omits the final year. So at that time, I think the first semester for 500 level in FUTA, which could be 400 level in another university, we approached the registrar. Is it the registrar or the admin? We went to the Senate and then we requested for our statement of marks. And they printed that for us, signed and stamped, except for the first and second semester of our final year. And we started using that to apply. And we're getting admissions. To be frank, my friends got scholarship using that statement of marks. And by the time they were asked to come, to fly down to Canada, sort of then, by that time, the transcript was already available. So they just submitted the updated version of the transcript. So yeah, you can approach your Senate and ask for a statement of, or probably maybe your department if they are keeping such record. And I know some university also have these results available on their portal. You can download that, then take it to the Senate for approval, signed, stamped, and then upload that.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that clarity. I think that makes it a bit easier, so we don't have to wait until the transcripts are ready. Because I think even for some schools, long after you are done in school, your transcript is still not ready, and the person might just keep waiting.
And yeah, that's also applies to certificates. So some people also think that my certificate needs to be ready. You understand? But no, if you are able to get like statement of results, you can use that. That can suffice instead of as against waiting for your certificates. And at the same time, as I said, statement of marks from your Senate or from your department, signed and stamped, can be used. And then by the time you are ready to travel down, your transcript should be ready and then your certificates should be ready. Then you can send that to complement the initial documents.
Okay,
so that is that for me.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So moving on to the next question, which is how important is formatting and consistency in graduate school application documents? How much of consistency should we put into consideration when preparing our documents?
Yeah, There's a saying that says, you'll be addressed the way you dress. So I would say when you it reflects professionalism. Merely looking at your writings, merely looking at your write-ups and your documents, how arranged they are or how disorganized they are, gives me a kind of perception about who you are. You know, so yeah, if everything is scattered, not well arranged, not well labeled, even the way you rename or you name your documents shows how organized you are. And I'm sure you will agree with me that grad school is no joke. You're going to be independent, doing so many things yourself. So if I cannot see that in the application stage, then how do you convince me that you would be able to survive grad school? It's not a joke. You would be doing a lot of research, writing a lot of reports, and then at that time you'll be doing all these things yourself. After you need finding those information yourself, digging deep, doing your own personal development yourself. So formatting is very, very important. It shows consistency. For instance, your fonts need to be, consistent all through the document. So if you have different fonts all over the place, it's difficult to read, especially for those even having using glasses or having eye defects. Your layouts, your headings, everything needs to be spot on so that you don't give a wrong impression about who you are to the panelists. So I hope that's answered what your question.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, for me, it did. So, Sherry, before we proceed to the next question, so to our audience, please, if you have any question or any comments, you can just drop it in the chat box, and in the course of this interaction, we would definitely visit that and kick it up with your questions. Thank you very much. So, I'd like to ask also that what are the common mistakes we make during applications, during the time we prepare our documents, and how can we avoid these mistakes? Because the truth is, sometimes we do not know that these are costly mistakes. Sometimes we just trivialize it, that let it just pass. But then there are mistakes that can cost us getting that scholarship.
Yeah. One of the mistakes is the question you asked just now, which is formatting. You need to present yourself well. You need to, if you do not know how to do these things, you need to bury yourself into understanding how to format, how to use your Microsoft. Learn on YouTube's, aside from using your YouTube to watch movies, if you really want to, to back this very competitive scholarships out there, you need to learn them. Just check online, Google. You see how to format well, use your Microsoft, probably use your Excel. And then other mistakes would be, using generic templates. You need to tell your own unique story. Everybody has their own unique story. And your CV, your personal statement, there should be like a blend in them. There should be not copy and paste, but there should be like a narrative you are trying to tell, like a story you are trying to tell. And then they should align well, avoid typographical errors, because that would kind of present you in a negative way. Avoid using vague languages. Be specific at all times, and try to make sure that your documents, or say whatever information you are presenting, is coherent. And at the same time, track deadlines. Sometimes you just get too busy and you forget the deadline, and that's when this opportunity pass. Sometimes you need to wait till the next year. You need to track those deadlines, write them down. So where I've got jottings, I write them down. I bookmark a lot. I set reminder, and these are some of the mistakes that we make that might cost us. Aside from forgetting that you need to submit your application, even the documents, something as small as your email. Sometimes your email address needs to be professional. It's not maybe Olufemi fineboy at gmail.com. will not suffice sometimes. It looks somehow. So you want to present yourself, try as much as possible to use your name to generate your email. And if you find out that somebody have used it, you can just add few numbers to those email, but still make sure that the huge chunk of your email address carries your name. So I think those are some of the mistakes I would say. Yeah. And as we go on, probably some other things might still come to mind, and then we talk about it. And in most cases, to just address these things, to make sure you submit your application early and proofread your document. There are so many free tools out there that you can use to proofread your documents. You can, I think Grammarly has a free version. You can use it to proofread your document, correct those typographical errors. And then if you prepare your document in time, you can send it to your peer. Your peers, your friends, probably your mentor. They can, if they have time, they can help you proofread those documents before eventually submitting it to the appropriate portal. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That did justice enough to it. So, like to ask, earlier on you mentioned the fact that if you were applying for probably an MRS, as a Master's by Research or a PhD, you need a research statement. So aside that kind of application, are there any grad school applications that require special or unique documents or special requirements to back them up?
Yeah, I said for Masters by Research and PhD programs, you need research proposals. And this proposal is something you just put up to show that you've identified a situation, an event, a problem in literature or maybe in real life. And then you like to solve those problems using so methods. And for thought masters or SIP, there's another thing called professional masters. You need personal statements, you need motivation letter in some cases. And most of these documents are to gain admission. But when you're not talking about getting scholarship, there are some essays that might kind of accompany this application. So at a point you use some of the documents we've identified earlier to gain admission. Then you prepare a separate document as advertised on the website or by the university. In most cases they ask you to write separate essays, talk about yourself, your motivation, your leadership roles, and that could also be a separate platform. So in one platform, you applied for your admission, you get an unconditional offer. Then in another platform, you submit several essays, which would then eventually give you the scholarship. So there's an admission aspect and then a scholarship aspect. So that is how it works in most cases.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir. So a follow-up question, or I think I have two follow-up questions as regards that. So the first one would be that, are there scholarship applications that require certain medical certificates? Or I know about the admission process, and some of them say they need maybe like evidence of COVID-19 vaccine or yellow fever. But there's some, like during even your application, that they would probably ask that they need some certifications.
I don't think I know of any at application level. They won't. Most of them will not ask you for any medical certifications. But at the visa application stage, that is when they would ask for those things. And yeah, it's something you can easily get. So it's best to leave that for when you are sure that you are going to travel. So just focus on getting the admission first and then the scholarship in alongside. So medical certificates are rarely asked. I've never come across any at application stage asking for medical fitness certifications.
How about for the for those people with certain disabilities? Are
Okay.
there
Okay, that would mean that you would have identified or select an option while applying. Okay, for instance, if they ask that are you a physically challenged person during your application and you tick yes, then that is when you need more explanation. So you can explain, they might ask what sort of um disability do you have? Is it um so that they can prepare. That is most of the time is just for their own preparation, so that they can prepare for you to welcome you and then give you the best of the best environment for you to thrive. There's a friend of mine that that also got into University of Warwick during my master's. Immediately he got to the airport, the university already provided him uh, uh, um, like a small motorcycle that's adjusted to his disability. Then he can move around with that easily. And that was what he used until he graduated. So it's just for them to prepare. And then when you tick such box, then you might want to show, they might ask like an evidence to show, for them to know what to expect and to prepare well to welcome you into their campus.
All right, so thank you very much. I think the experience you shared now, it's a good one. At least it's promising that not only will they ask for it, but provisions can actually be made. So
Yeah.
we'll be holding on for this session a bit for a part of the survey again so that we can get more responses. So to our audience, thank you for staying tuned, thank you for listening, and the chat box is still open for your questions. So we'll be having another survey briefly, and it will be coming up on your screen very soon. Do well to respond. So we just hold on for a few minutes to come up with that. Okay, so I believe that has popped up on our screen. I'll be reading that out right now. So it says, how has your scholarship search journey been? How has it been for you? Has it been exciting, rewarding, overwhelming, but hopeful, challenging and time-consuming, frustrating with limited results, or you're still exploring options? We'd appreciate that you share with us what stage or what it's like for you uh, at the moment. Is it exciting and rewarding? Is it overwhelming? Is it challenging and time-consuming, frustrating? Or are you still exploring the available options to you? Right? All right, this is a very close one. 20% said exciting and rewarding, 10% overwhelming but hopeful, 30% challenging and time-consuming, 10% frustrating with limited results, and 30% still exploring options. Thank you for your responses. To those who are finding it challenging, frustrating, overwhelming, I believe that at the end of this event, with better knowledge, there's going to be a change of the narrative. You'd find it exciting and with something to show for it, definitely. So thank you, and we'll be progressing again into this the second part of the interactive session with Mr. Olufemi Adesina. Thank you, sir, for still staying with us. So now at this time we are considering portfolio and profile building. So you mentioned earlier about how we prepare documents, how we choose to be addressed, how we present ourselves. So now we'll be considering profile and portfolio building. And the first question would be that what elements should a strong graduate school applicant profile include? Like in terms of research experience, volunteer work, leadership roles, what are the key things that we should look out for?
Yeah, I think you've mentioned them. You've mentioned some of the things. As you know, in grad school, as I said earlier, you would be doing more of research. You'll be doing more of independent research, writing reports, presenting findings, and then putting your thoughts together. And then if you're going to showcase yourself to the panelists, they need to see, your experience around doing some of those things already, like your undergraduate research projects should be highlighted in in your in, in your in your documents, say your motivation letter, maybe your CV. You can talk about it. You can also highlight your publications. As those research projects been published, or have they been captured by mainstream media? Do you have links to them? And then what leadership roles have you been engaged in? Have you volunteered, for instance, like what you're doing, what Grace is doing with Fujist Hub? These are things you can definitely do as well to highlight how you've taken charge of events, programs, and then have you attended conferences? This is what I want to see, because especially at PhD level, this is what you'll be doing. You'll be meeting with stakeholders, attending and organizing workshops. Do you have awards? Do well to include them, in your portfolios, in your profile, on your CV. Have you won any grants? These are things I feel that you can, it would make you stand out. And then maybe later on we can then talk about, some of the things that you would also want to include in your CV, and how to, put yourself out there online, especially in the age of social media.
All right, sir, thank you very much. I think the part of volunteering, in Nigeria for some, let's just divert a bit and then get back into this. For some job roles, they would ask for so many years of experience, and you're like, how? I just left school. How do I meet up? So does it apply to this? Like, they require experiences. How do we build this experience? Because I don't think most people know that even doing basic things and being able to write the story or craft it well can stand for a paid role experience. So how can we go about that?
Exactly, you've nailed my point. You don't have to be associated with the big brands, the big names. It could just be something small, depending on how you've decided to quantify it or write about it. So I would kind of enjoy you to, whatever you do, make sure you document. By the time you document every tiny bit and pieces of what you do, you'll be surprised and amazed about how far you have gathered in terms of experiences. For instance, when I was in the university, um, um, because so many of my colleagues felt that I was good and I was probably among the best, they reached out to me for extra coaching. You understand? So while putting up application, those are some of the things I can easily put in as, teaching experiences. And then I can quantify that based on the number of people that reached out to me. For instance, our class rep then might reach out to me and say, Femi, do you care to take us on this say software? A lot of people in the class are finding it challenging, and I'm sure you know your way around it. Then if I feel that I'm available, probably before a test or an examination, then we can organize, probably say we have 50 students in the class. You can write that on your CV. That's an experience, standing, teaching them, expressing what the way the lecturer will not go. You have to, communicate because they are your colleagues. You can, communicate in the language that they would understand more. And then gradually you are building, experiences. And it could be any leadership role in the university as well that you want to highlight. Maybe you were involved in student representative council, student union government. You work as a class rep, assistant class rep. You support the HOD to do some work, admin work, and then probably you volunteer for with organizations like Fujist. It must not necessarily be, say, paid roles. So the aim is to get the experience and not, and I understand that you might be caught in between, making money and, seeking for experience. But no matter what the brand, they don't really care about the brand, to be fair, or the title of whatever you've gained that experience. Could be during your sideways, it could be during your industrial training, which is also referred to as IT. Craft them well, present them well, quantify the impacts, and then put them in your CV. It will take you places.
All right, thank you very much for that. So moving on to the next question. What role do online profiles play in graduate school applications? So beyond writing, how do we position ourselves having an online image or an online personality out there, and how does it affect our graduate school applications?
Yeah, that's another way of building portfolio around probably your feed. And these days you can seize the opportunity of social media, to have to talk about your passion, to talk about your knowledge in your feed. And as the algorithm pushes you out when it sees that you do that, frequently. You talk about in the agricultural sector, maybe there's a particular research you read or paper you read. You can find a way of crafting, something interesting about the paper, or say the video you saw and share. The more you share, the more you put yourself out there. Who knows? A professor can see your page and say, wow, this person is interested in something like this. It would be nice to work with you. And you've gotten a role without even applying. I've seen so many people reach out to me on LinkedIn just because they've seen my profile, and then they just assume that I will be interested in the job without applying. And if you see my if you see my profile on LinkedIn or other people's profile, it's kind of mirrors or mimics their CV. So before even sending out your CV, they already have a preconception or say perception about you, merely looking at those profiles, especially LinkedIn. It's a professional website that you should be in. Try as much as possible to update them like you do to your CV. And on your CV, as I said earlier, ensure that for instance, you quantify your achievements. If you graduate as one of the best in your department, highlight it that, oh, you graduated as maybe in the top 1% of your department. In the roles that you've worked with, for instance, Grace working with or volunteering at Food Gist Hub. At the end of today, you could just look at the number of people attendees at today's webinar, and put something interesting on your CV saying that, oh, I was able to organize the webinar, assisted Dr. Ireti, and over 100 people, students logged in, and at the end of the day, they show their feedback. The feedback we got was positive. They got to learn about this, that, and that, and then showcase that on your CV. Also, put that in on your LinkedIn profile. These are the things that will attract people, jobs, vacancies, opportunities to you. Aside from LinkedIn, there are also other online platforms that you could kind of put your projects or display your capacity. For instance, ResearchGate is a place where you can forever. For instance, if you've presented a poster at a conference, there's a room to upload that in ResearchGate. If you've presented an oral, if you have had an oral presentation at a webinar or a conference, the slides, you can package the slides, then well labeled, upload that on your ResearchGate. You'll be surprised that people want to see your slides. People want to see your posters. This might not be published paper, but they go a long way to put you out there and tell your story to to the audiences that care to look at them. So I think these are the things you can jump on. At the same time, aside from journal publications, which people do highlight, you can also take advantage of mainstream media, newspapers, Punch, The Nations. Sometimes there are some columns that are kind of tailored towards academics and research. Um, you might just put up some write-ups, maybe along the lines of, maybe if you're working on climate change, food security, check out for those correspondents' email on those newspapers. Send them the article if it interests them. You could get your write-up published in those places, and that's also good on your CV and your online profile as well.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. So a follow-up question on that would be, whilst we were saying that having a good profile on LinkedIn can position you for opportunities, would it be right to think that after application, after applying to an opportunity, that should we call the person the reviewer of your application, goes behind to check you out online? And then use that to compare or to support the documents you presented during your application?
Yes, to be fair, that is where you need to keep updating your profile. And a bit of transparency would also come in there. So you cannot over-exaggerate what you've got. You understand? You cannot over-exaggerate what you've got. So you need to be, as much as you want to sell yourself, you need to understand how these people take things. If you over-exaggerate what you've got, or say lie on your application, those are places where they can fact check you. But to be fair, you can't put everything on LinkedIn. It's just a platform that can accept, few details. You understand what I mean? There are so many details I've got that is not on my LinkedIn. And when I want to make application, I put them and they are not on my LinkedIn. So they don't expect you to put, but things like your undergraduate degree should not be different from what you put in LinkedIn. For instance, in your CV, you said you studied food science at Federal University of Technology, but on your LinkedIn profile, you studied in Adekunle Ajayi University. That's two separate things. And then you studied computer science. So this is a contradictory. That might not fly. So there are things that you might be in your application, but not on your profile. And but not those basic things like your academic qualification and maybe few of your work experience. Not all my work experience are on LinkedIn. Yeah, just put few on my LinkedIn. So if they care to ask, they would mail you and fact check that. And then on LinkedIn, if, for instance, if that could also be a place to know if the panel of judges are kind of interested in considering you for the job. I know you were looking at it probably from the negative angle that probably if your CV and your online profiles are not aligning. I told you how you can navigate that. You cannot put everything in your LinkedIn. But at the same time, if you're expecting feedback from your application and you notice somebody viewed your profile, something of such has happened to a friend. And that was how we know that the professor was interested in him. So he reached out to me and he said to me that, "Oh, Femi, I noticed this professor looked at my profile, and I've been expecting a feedback from the university for some time now. It's been delaying. Oh, when we saw that, we checked, and the professor was from that same university. Immediately, we sent the professor a follow-up email. So when we sent the professor a follow-up email, the response was like, "Yeah, I just checked you on LinkedIn, and I think I want to work with you." You see, so it could be, it could give you a sense of relief when you see that, somebody from this university is checking you out and they're trying to see you. So that is what I have to say with that.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So just one last question for this interactive session, and I don't think it's not under this portfolio building, but I want to ask a question as pertaining graduate school applications and countries. Now, I believe US style in writing is different from UK style in writing.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
does it apply in applications also that there's a style of UK application, there's US, there's Canada, there's China? I think China is, I once tried a China application and just from the questions, I just closed the tab because it was too much. I was like, what happened? So like, are there differences based on the countries and things like that?
There are so many variations. I would say depending on the country, and at the same time depending on the organizers of those, opportunities, and maybe the funders of those opportunities. So, for instance, I would say the ones that are popular, you've got the Chevening, the Commonwealth Scholarship, the Machapaport Scholarship, Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Those are for the UK. And then you've got the MasterCard Scholarship, which cut across so many continents. They fund grad schools in Canada, in the United States. Sometimes they even fund grad schools in Pretoria, that in South Africa, and some Middle East countries in Asia. So, to be fair, you just need to take your time to read about those people. Go to the website, digest every information about the application, about their grad schools, about the opportunity, because they vary a lot. And that is where the challenge comes. And that is where it's time consuming. And that is where I say it's a full-time job. So now you need to understand that they vary. You need to craft different applications for different locations, and then different methods to even approach them to say. So if you're talking about language, most of the English-speaking country would take similar writing skills. They would take similar writing skills. They won't. I doubt if they would judge you that much by the way you write. Maybe maybe you write. There are words that are say Queen's English, and there are some American English. They won't judge you because they understand that you are coming from different places, and then you might be from a country that has been colonized by the British. So definitely you would be speaking the Queen's English. So that wouldn't affect your application. But I understand if these applications comes with different packages, as if highlighted in the case of China. I've tried to apply to scholarships in Japan. I've tried to apply to scholarship in China. And to be fair, they are very difficult, especially because some of them require transcribing from English to those languages. And sometimes I just, shy away from those type of application and focus my intention on English-speaking countries because I believe that is where my strength lies. That is not to say that people are not getting that. I've got a friend that got a PhD or master's scholarship in Japan, in Tokyo, in China, but the ones the schools that offer my area of interest had needed a lot of packages that I could not even present. And some even come with financial burden, which I could not afford at the time. So I then look at other aspects, other countries, or say other type of opportunities that I can easily show my strength. And that would mean focusing on those English speaking country, and yeah, but that doesn't mean that you cannot get into other countries that are not of English descent.
All right, thank you very much. Because I really think we need that clarity so people they don't get maybe scared or think that a general approach fits all. Sometimes it might not be a one size fit all for this application. So thank you very much,
Yeah.
sir. So on my part, we are done with this interactive session, but would be going to the chat box now. I'll be taking questions from the audience. So we have 2 questions at the moment. From Moriam Abdulhamid, she says, can you suggest tips that can help while writing statement of purpose for the first time?
Ooh. I would say that before I suggest tips, Google is a friend. To be fair, if you just Google statement of purpose, personal statements, there's nothing that has never been done on the planet Earth that's not on Google. You would see series of templates, different templates. So what keeps me going sometimes is me knowing fully well that if I use the Google, I would definitely see something. If I check the YouTube, I would definitely see a guide or a material that is available. And then sometimes people think those that get these opportunities are genius. No, they just tend to, see different templates, adapt these templates, see where your story comes in, and then use the guide, use their template as guide, to present your own document. So not as if you're copying and pasting, but you would see a lot of guides online. For instance, if you are writing in the first, probably a draft, you need to speak to the panel's emotion. There should be like an hook. Why you're interested in this program in the first place? Then that could be followed by your academic qualification, how your academic qualification or your background or your interests or the passion that you've highlighted earlier fit into this particular program. Then another aspect could be showing that you've done your research, telling them that you've seen that this university is known for so and so topic. For instance, they've been awarded to be the best in chemistry, in biology, in food science, or you can also look at their ranking, look at where they stand, and probably also look at the departmental ranking, the program that you want to study, how they rank compared to other university. Show that you are interested in through that line. Then you can also go ahead and by indicating that you've reached out to some professors and you've identified that Professor Reti's area of interest aligns with mine. Now you're taking it a step further. Then you can now also highlight the fact that, okay, maybe your undergraduate project or a particular published paper that you co-authored also align or is relevant in this particular study. And then you also need to, towards the end of your statement, you need to also signpost your future goals and ambition. For instance, after getting this study, you believe that this study will put you in a pole position to influence policies, regulations, contribute to knowledge, impact your community, and at the same time, also give you the needed experience or the requirement to pursue future career goals like being a manager in an agricultural firm or proceeding for your further studies, say PhD or leading an evolution in your sector or giving back to through NGOs like Dr. Ireti does. So these are things that you present. So to sum it up again, you start with a bit of yourself, introducing yourself, linking it to your interest and your motivations, then linking it to your qualifications and your background and how it suits or fits in this particular program, then bringing in your own individual or independent research about the university, about the department, or about the subject matter or the subject area that you're going to study, then capturing it, like concluding it with what you intend to do if you're given the opportunity to secure this scholarship, how it's going to help your future goal and the impact on others. And then you have a solid personal statement or motivational statement for yourself.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I believe that answered your question, Moriam. I guess with this, you should be able to draft your first statement.
If you have that, if you have what I just highlighted, then you can now go online, check out drafts, check out different templates, and then use it to kind of refine your own, what is it called? Your own drafts, and then send it to your peers and whoever you have got that can also, take a look at it and do some corrections and give you some feedbacks, and then you've got something for yourself.
Thank you very much, sir. So the last question would be that from Adeyemi Emmanuel, and it says, where can I find scholarship opportunities?
Again, if you are going to grad school, you see me hammering on this. Research. It starts from looking it up, checking it yourself, doing your own bit. But aside from doing that, aside from the Google things, aside from, it also starts by following. There's a line that they used to say in Nigeria: "Follow who no road." Have you heard about that? it's not only about following the celebrity. If you are not going that way, why not follow the people that share these things online? Follow who has been there before. Who knows? He might just wake up one day and share an update, and you'll be there to take it, to grab it. And then what are you using your bookmarks for? Your bookmarks on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, wherever the opportunity comes, they are there. Google, find a PhD in the UK. The first three websites that the Google search will present you will take you directly to where you would get a PhD scholarship in the UK. Just by saying, find a PhD in the UK. If you say, find a master's by research or master's scholarship in the United States, you would get it. And if you go follow people that share updates all the time on YouTube, on LinkedIn, subscribe to their channels, check for websites that send newsletters. I've got some in my email that when you subscribe to their mailing list every week, or say every 2 days, depending on your settings, they would send you those scholarship, and that definitely will keep you updated about, they might even remind you about the deadlines. It's coming near, you need to apply just by searching, going to their website, joining their emailing list. If you scroll down to most of this website, you would see join our mailing list. Put your email, join those mailing lists. Yeah, because you are the one that is searching for those information. They would bombard you with email, but it's your job to filter. That is what I do in my leisure time when I was looking. To let you know, before I could land my PhD opportunity, I applied for a whole year. So that means I started from January till December. Before I could get my master's scholarship, I applied for more than 50 opportunities and adverts, both the ones that require me just mailing a professor, going, for instance, if I come across you studying in a particular university that interests me, I check their university on LinkedIn, I check it out on their website, go into the website of the university, check the name of their staffs. They've got a list of their staff, look at the email of their grad school, mail them with your CV, tell them you are interested, reach out to those staff, the professors and the doctors, show them that you are interested. But the foundation is me just seeing someone that posted something. Then I checked the person out. Then I saw the profile. Then so many people reached out to me via email just by seeing my email online. And those are methods. So there's no one size fits all, as I said. There's the cold email that you can send to professor if you find their area of research interesting. There's the ones that come annually that are popular, like the Chevening, the Commonwealths, the Mashapap Awards, the Tigas in Highland. These ones come annually. If you are interested in scholarship, this is what you need to be following. You must even know, give or take, be able to predict the dates and time that they would advertise those opportunities. Track them, follow those people, subscribe to those channels, Google them, and then you would get all these opportunities, and then join their mailing list.
All
So
right,
these are
sir.
ways. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So, on a final note, I'll just like that you just give us, if there's any other thing you'd like to see from you personally to every of our audience, maybe to motivate us, or just something for us.
Yeah. I would say that I understand. I've been there, so I understand that it can be frustrating. It can be a lonely journey. I would give a story of myself. So when we started applying for scholarship in our final year, most of my friends got the scholarship before me. And to be fair, I thought I'd stand a chance because I was having a very solid CGPA, but that was not the case. They all got this scholarship. Most of my friends got it before me. And then they flew out of the country and it became lonely. You know what I did? I kept in touch and they kept encouraging me. And then I joined different group. Now we're in a particular group before they left. But now I had to join other groups, meet people with like minds, cast my net. Then in even WhatsApp group, I was in different WhatsApp groups, learning from people sharing different opportunities, because you cannot be following me when I'm applying for PhD and you are applying for masters. We are not in the same group, if you will agree with me. If I'm applying for a job and you have friends or groups, pairs applying for scholarships, you are not looking for the same thing. Imagine what that would do to your state of mind. But if you have people, doing similar things, that will kind of encourage you. Even if you get rejections, you encourage each other. You can do it. Okay, I did mine in so way. You share thoughts, you share opinion. I was able to join Food Gist Hub. You were not there, but these and these were the insights we got from the webinar. You can also apply this. So, when you work together in pairs, it makes the journey easy. And then, as I said earlier, you need to be intentional. It's a full-time job. You need to be intentional. And also to finance some of these things, because I know there's the aspect of financing. There are some organizations that support people with, IELTS fee, with internship opportunities. You might want to apply to those organizations and then search for them, subscribe to their website, follow them if they can afflict, some of these things. And also, there's nothing bad in maybe working and creating time for application. So far, you know the deadlines. So far, you are tracking the deadlines. Have your side gig, then invest some of the money you get from that into maybe sending your scholarship, your transcript abroad. There was a time I needed to send my transcript abroad. That comes, with a financial burden, which I need to bear. So as much as you developing yourself in other area, if you know you are still interested in pursuing this goal, you can invest bit there from friends, from family, from side gigs, then from applications here and there for funds. Support yourself. There are some other organizations that will even support you to go for international conferences, and also may probably do international internships like the IFAD, like the FAO, United Nations, World Banks. These are people that offer the opportunity, to explore, and then this would be very good on your profile at the end of the day. They also give out trainings. Make use of these free online trainings and courses. Use it to build your profile, and then I believe that you would stand a chance at the end of the day. And if you feel overwhelmed, there's nothing stopping you. You can take, a chill break, sit back, relax a bit, gather that strength, and then re-strategize, and then put in your applications again.
All right, thank you very much, sir. It has been amazing time spent with you, and thank you for doing justice to today's the theme for today. Thank you so much. I believe our audiences also had a great time. Yeah, we had the feedback from Danjuma OJ, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much. You can also say thank you to Mr. Olufemi in the chat. Thank you. And you
It's
can
my
follow
pleasure.
him. Yes, you're welcome,
It's my
sir.
pleasure.
You can check him out online, Olufemi Adeshino or Olufemi S. Adeshino, as the case
Thank
may
you so much. It's my pleasure. Yeah, you don't need connections to get these opportunities. you don't need to be poor. So that you are not there to sell your emotions or being sentimental about it. You do not need a first class or be a genius to get it. You, by the way you are, with what you've got, you just need to work to complement whichever weakness you think you've got, strengthen it with other aspects, and then you are good to go.
All right, so thank you very much. And as I read in your bio that you're in your final year, we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank
It's
you
going
so
to
much.
be a success at the end of it all, and a
Appreciate.
postdoc by the grace of God. All right, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, sir. So on this note, I'll be welcoming our host, Dr. Rita Adeshida, to take us through the next session. We're talking about food gist of, and you might be wondering how you could be a part of it. This could just be the basis that you need to volunteer and get experience. So Dr. Rita Adeshida will be talking to us on food gist of and some other things that you can do. Thank you. You're welcome, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. Thank you, Olufemi. Thank you. It's been a wonderful engagement. I believe we've learned a lot from this engagement, and it's been wonderful. And I want to say this that, as I said, we need to be intentional, because if you are not intentional with whatever you're doing, it has its own limitations. So, and what we're trying to just talk about is basically the food gist community, because what we try to do is to build a community, because anything that we are doing that is not community based also might not be sustainable. So that's why what we are trying to do is to build a community whereby we have young people who are passionate about developing their skills and again exploring opportunities. One thing I always tell young people is that let me say, the Western world is owing us is education, and we need to go and get it. That is it. Because let's not deceive ourselves. If we have to wait in Africa to get the best education. Yes, I know Africa is trying. I'm not disputing that, but we need to go there and get that knowledge. The same way some countries, I don't want to mention that country, go out to still get technology and bring it to develop themselves. So we need to see how we can develop that and build that community. So that's why we are building a community. And you mentioned something about internship and volunteering. And that's one of the platforms we are also going to create here, because I know a lot of people who have passed through Realize Africa, even Fujist, that they have gotten a lot of opportunities based on their volunteering activities. For people like us too, we are product of volunteering activities. Where we are today is based on volunteering. Though it's so unfortunate that the generation we have nowadays is talking about what is in for me. But if you volunteer and you profile yourself and you keep records, when the opportunity comes, you get it. And that's just the thing, because you might be able to be thinking what I'm doing, no, it doesn't really make sense. It makes sense because when you, as Femi said, once you do compile all these things, I was there, I was working with Fujis, I was working with this organization. So we're going to build that community. So make sure you have registered, you have your email, you register for this event. So once you register for this event, we'll get it across to you. So expect our email very soon on follow-ups. And we're also looking at building, either we're going to build like a WhatsApp or a Telegram community, because there are certain times that there might be some opportunities that we might need to just drop quickly. But we are going to develop rules for such communities. That's another thing too, because we discovered that if you are going to be there, you have to be intentional. You have to be serious about what we are doing. So it's not someone that will just come and, I just want to just be here just to come and play. You have to show us what you have to offer. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. So just watch out for those opportunities. It will go a long way to help you. So just make sure that you are part of it. So then, and if you have any observation or any suggestion that you want us to work on, we are free. We'll always be there to encourage you. We're always there to give you that opportunity. So please just make sure you are there. And one thing I also request, possibly I also talk to Femi and all our that's our guests, is that after this, We are still going to have a follow-up with Fem because I know he still has some other things to talk about. We would like to have let's have like a practical session, especially when it comes to like writing some of these statements of purpose and all those things. Let's just do what we just be doing that day is just to like do a screen share your screen. Let's just probably work on some templates, because one of the things I want us to build here is that let's make it practical, not just talk. Let's see how. So we can just have like some templates. Okay, this is a template. Okay, let's give like a scenario. Okay, you want to work on crop production, you want to work on food security. This is an example that you can use for your own. So I think we'll also look into that opportunity. So just keep engaging with us, and let's see how we can take it to the next level. So once again, I want to say a big thank you. Thank you very much, Femi. I'm proud of you. It's just the way, that's one thing about life. I always tell people that, and that's one of the things that we should build here. Build your network. Just build your network, build your relationships over time. It was in class, was in school, I was a lecturer, was there, and I know based on his passion and everything, and we can see the results. And that's just the thing. You mentioned something that the way you dress, or the way the way you package yourself, the way you present yourself at early stage in life is who you become in life later in the future. So no matter how it is, and it's not just about having the best grades. I'm not after the first class. I'm after those who have something to offer. And I'm glad that we have that. And Grace, also, you did a very good job. I'm proud of you. A great mentee of mine that is doing well. And to me, our own job is for you to see you, doing it, and let's keep doing it more. So as a roundup, let me just throw a poll, because we want to also know which platform do you think will work for us. Do you think we should use, any group that we're going to use is going to be a closed group. Either we use a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group. So just choose, let us know which one you feel that will work for a closed group, because it's going to be a closed group. We'll decide on how you're going to come in, because one thing again is that we don't want people that just come and not do anything. You have to come and take responsibility. And also there's also what we call the accountability partner. So we are going to build an accountability team whereby we are accountable for one another. So that's just the thing. So I just let me just give room for about 5 seconds so that we can so let's have yours. Okay. So thank you. So we have 71% chose WhatsApp. Okay, thank you. So I think WhatsApp goes for it, because I do understand that some are not too active on Telegram, but as much as possible, we're going to make it closed so that we don't have other posts. So it's only the admin, or unless we have special meetings, that is when we leave it open. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. And over to you, Grace. Thank you. And for all those who are joining us, I really appreciate you. Thank you for how you've been with us from the beginning, and also staying with us till now. We appreciate you. So let's keep building this community so that we can build a better future, so that we can have a food secured Africa, because it is very, very important. I was just checking online, and I also saw that it says Nigeria to face poverty by 2027. That's a major issue, because when you are talking about poverty, then food is in danger. So we need to see how we can thrive, how we can get things right. So thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the privilege to do this.
You're welcome.
Thank you for this event, and I am more glad that there's going to be follow-up and for that series for this. Dr. Femi, yes, Dr. Femi. Thank you also.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks
He's
for
a
having
doctor
me.
already, so
Yes,
he's a doctor
yes,
already. So
yeah,
thank you
so
very
he's
much,
just
sir.
he's waiting for the formalization. So that's just it.
Yes.
Just to
We
formalize
really
it.
can't wait to celebrate that.
Yeah, you would receive my invitation. No worries
All
at
right, no
all.
problem.
Then also you come and share your story because you understand. I also passed through that PhD journey. You get to the middle of the road as if you want to run away, but
you are tired.
so that's why getting that DR is not just by the road.
Yeah.
Well, thank God for everything. Yeah.
All right, thank you, everyone. So please, you can also follow Food Gist Up online. Just search for Food Gist Up on every of our social media accounts so that you keep in tune with our events, activities, and any updates we have to share. But of course, as Dr. said, the WhatsApp group will be created and then further information will also be passed across. Now, I'm going to be leaving you with this, that everything we've talked about here, it should not end here. As little as starting your research, like Dr. Femi said, that is where you should start. In fact, from as you're ending this call, just go to Google and start searching. Go to LinkedIn, look for people to follow. Go to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, every platform possible, and ensure you do something. The little things count. Don't wait until when you have everything before you start. Start now, and then when you start in your documents or every other opportunities, it makes you prepared, and then you get the opportunity. Thank you so much for staying tuned. And till we meet again, my name is Grace Olopsolakile. Thank you and God bless you. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
Good day. Sorry, I had a missed call of the time. Good to see you.